So we've completed our form validation essentially, and if our form isn't filled, we keep in the values anyway in case, so users don't have to re-enter every bit of data. Now what we want to do is we want to compare the two passwords. So down here, after we've validated the form, we need to say, or partly validated, we need to say if password doesn't equal password again, do something, otherwise complete the rest of the registration. So in here, if it doesn't equal, we need to say passwords do not match. Okay, otherwise now we say okay. So let's click register.php. Right, so I can type my username in there. Let's go down and do our first name and surname first. So I'm going to type pass123, and in this one I'm going to type pass12. So this is one less character than this, therefore they don't match. So let's click register, and we get the error message, passwords do not match. So let's try again. Pass123, pass123, click register, it's okay, they match. So now that we're okay here, we need to start the registration process. But what we need to do is we need to check if the username already exists in the database. So how do we do this? Now we need to create a query. Let's just pull this down so we can have a bit of space. The query is going to be select, and we're going to select username from, so let's just pop this in apostrophes, select username from users. So remember, we're selecting, let's just go back to here, we select username from users where, oh, remember the apostrophe there, so where username equals, and now what we can do is substitute in the username that the user has supplied here, so we can say username. Now if this returns a row, what's going to happen is it means that the username already exists, because we're returning a row, which means we've successfully selected something where the username exists already. So now let's run the query. Let's put that into a new variable. So query run equals MySQL query. And what we need to do now is we need to count the amount of rows. So we say if MySQL num rows for query run, so remember the query running, is equal to 1 or is greater than or equal to 1. In the sense of this login and registration system, it will never be 2 or 3 or any higher. So we can leave this equal to 1 because remember, this process, the whole point of it is to not duplicate the username. So if the username equals 1, do something, otherwise do something else. In the case that it does equal 1, we need to say the username, concatenate on username that the username supplied already exists. Okay, so otherwise we're saying okay. So we're at the last part of our validation, where we're validating now not the form but whether the username exists. So let's go back to our register page, blank that. Let's type in a username Alex, password pass123, pass123, first name Alex, surname Garrett. Now when I click the register button, we're going to do all the checks that we've already spoken about, but now we're going to check if the username exists. So let's check if that works. We'll click register. Oh, it says okay. Okay, so let's double check everything. Select, running that query, if MySQL query num rows equals 1, else okay. Okay, so let's test our query because it doesn't seem to be working as of yet. Let's pop that into our SQL tab up here to see what happens. Okay, so let's paste that in and click go. Returned an empty result set, so, oh no, sorry, that's going to be equal to Alex. Click go. Okay, so we are returning that value, and let's think why we're not getting any results. Okay, so let's echo out the username here just to go along with the process as we do it. So let's go back to our page here and type in our password again. Alex, okay, so obviously there's a problem with our query somewhere, because that username should be fed in properly. Now let's try to, I mean, it might be something simple that I'm completely missing. Let's try and echo out MySQL num rows of our query that we've run. See what that produces. Okay, we're not getting anything from that. So that means that no rows are being returned. Okay. Yeah. Right, okay. So, what I've stupidly done is, perhaps you should learn from my mistake, is we have this lovely file up here called connect.inc.php, which I haven't actually included. So all of this is absolutely, well, just the query is useless. So let's go up, and I'm going to require connect.inc.php so I can connect to the database and therefore perform these operations correctly. So let's go back here and we'll re-type in pass123, pass123, click register. The username Alex already exists.